Guys, what's going on? It's Chamber here. Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about something that I feel like you've already heard of. Zen 3. Zen 3 is honestly one of the biggest things in gaming and especially CPUs and processors ever since Sandy Bridge back in 2012, I believe. Back when Intel basically buried AMD, but now AMD's back. They came out of the grave and are even stronger now. It's kind of crazy, but I feel like we really need to talk about a couple of things. And that is, I still wouldn't go for them for everything. There's a couple of things where I'd be like, go with Intel. And I feel like that's especially specific with this. Now, obviously, you've probably seen this a couple hundred, maybe 1,000 times by now. That's the pricing chart. Now, there's also the 5950X at the top, which is $800. For example, I'll show you actually. 5950X. Pricing. And it's like, we'll view image. 4.9 gigahertz, 72 megs of cache. And so, I feel like we really need to talk about this. These CPUs are awesome. But there's a couple that I wouldn't go for. Now, I will say this. There is a reason why, and I actually will show you this. So, we'll open up Paint right now. So, I want to explain how AMD CPUs work. Now, you may know AMD CPUs. Intel has joked around calling them glued CPUs because what you get is you'll get something like this. So, with the 3800X, and 3700X, you had this. So, these would be your core complexes, so this would be what your cores are on. So you have this. So you'll have core 1, core 2, core 3, core 4, core 5. I'm sorry, 1 second. All right, so back to what I was saying. Then you'll have core 6, core 7, and core 8. And obviously the threads will be doubled. They are both the 30. So this would be 3700X slash 8. Yeah. All right. And then you have this IO die. So this is where your memory controller, all that stuff is. And then I know this is very confusing, but sometimes people will be like, well, how do you connect them? How do you get them working together? Well, that's where the Infinity Fabric, which is known as your F clock. So for example, this is where it goes like this. And you go boom, boom. So for example, that's why the max RAM is 3600. So if you use 3600 megahertz, you'll get an 1800 megahertz FCLK, which is because technically 3600 megahertz RAM does run at 1800 megahertz, but it's doubled. That's what DDR stands for, double data rate. So, okay. Now this is where I'm going to get to it. AMD kind of switched this up. So now you still have this exact same IO die, but in Paint. So this would be like the 5800X. You get a bigger one, and then you'll get this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know how to draw threes today. Or 5s, apparently. 6, 7, and 8. And then you still have that IO die. Now, they still have to connect. So they'll go like this, and then they'll go like this. Now, the IO die has not changed at all. You still have technically a max of 3600. You can get lucky and maybe try 3800. Very rare to get 4000, though. I will say that. Now, this is when it kind of gets difficult to recommend stuff. Now, with the 5600X, it still has the exact same die, except you have 2 cores chopped off. So you have it like this. So you're technically kind of losing performance. And this is where I get to what I'm talking about today. Don't go with the 5600X. Go with the 10600K. It's technically cheaper on Newegg. And definitely probably other places. It's just the first place. And you get a free game. Obviously, I don't know how good the Avengers game is. I haven't played it. Doesn't really seem interesting to me. But, okay. And I know people will be like, but it's 14 nanometer versus 7 nanometer on the Ryzen. You're not going to notice the difference. There's no difference that's going to be like double the performance. No, that's not the thing. Intel's 14 nanometer is very good. It's refined. That's what it is. It's refined. You have, you can easily get 5.1 gigahertz out of these and super high memory clocks. Because I'm going to let you in a little secret. These 10600Ks are just 10900Ks with 4 cores disabled. Who wouldn't want that? For $280, that is an awesome steal. But as I haven't noticed, as you may notice, I haven't put the 10700K in here. Because honestly, the 5800X is an awesome deal. This might get you like 9900K, 10700K for $449. And I know, how much is this? Okay, that is typically not the case. But here's the thing. This will get you a lot better. And what I've learned is you will definitely get better streaming performance out of these. That cache is going to help tremendously. Core clock isn't the biggest part. Your architecture, your IPC, which is what really has improved. And then I also didn't talk about the 5900X. So the 5900X is basically the 5600X with 2 of these. So you'll have 2. Then you'll have these 2 chopped off. So you're missing it. Now, this is where I really would recommend getting a 10900K. For how much is it? Okay, I know that these are in stock right now. You get the Avengers game also, especially if you're thinking about buying that, you might as well. These are, if you're going to get them, maybe get them at Best Buy. $530. This is the cheapest you will find them. And then you're going to go with the 5950X. If you want that top end $800, you just want the best or the most cores. You're a professional by day, gamer by night. You don't need the highest FPS. You need something to render out your videos. That's where it'd go. And this is where I made my beautiful, beautiful painting in MS Paint. I'm taking commissions. I think I'm going to start at about $7 million. This is the CPU tier list. Honestly, why didn't I use Tier Maker? Anyways, so we got in our number 1 spot, we got the 5950X. In number 2, we got the 10900K. Number 3, we got the 5800X. And number 4, you got the 10600K. And then after that, it's irrelevant. Don't buy anything else. You buy these CPUs, or you basically don't buy anything else. If you're going to go cheap. And then for people who are like, I want to get a budget. If you're on a budget, balling on a budget, you can do what I did last year. When Zen 2 came out, I bought Zen Plus. I bought a 2600X, and I've basically gotten it to a 3600 performance. So, budget, go with the 3600. Or maybe a 3700X. Do not buy a Intel parts. Those technically tend to hold their value a little higher. Get 3600 or 3700X. Get a good B550 motherboard. Please do not buy B450. You will have no upgrade path. Not saying that because the CPUs don't support it. The power delivery will not support it. That's the biggest part. That's all I'm going to say about that. And then we're going to get into a couple of leaks. Now, this is actually, but if you guys remember, AMD released the XT CPUs earlier this year. Now, that stands for like extreme tuned, and that was basically just higher megahertz, like 100 to 200 megahertz on the 3600 XT, the 3800 XT, and the 3900 XT. Now, AMD has confirmed, there was somewhere on video cards, I saw it on their Twitter, that could be big if they could release an XT. That will be the 5 gigahertz because they're both at 4.9. Sorry, this is at 4.8, and the 3950X is at 5. Is at 4.9. Now, obviously, the XTs have to be a boost. And I don't think they're going to be like, hey, let's just boost the base clock. That's not going to be what people are interested in. What's going to be the real thing is that base. Those are going to hit the 5 gigahertz. And I believe that also, time to open another paint. Man, we should set a record real quick. Anyways, so this will set, maybe this will be what's big. So you'll have So 5900 XT. Now this might be what's really good for gamers. This will be the biggest gaming CPU ever in my opinion. So you'll be like this. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you'll have your IO die. And then you'll have, boom, I'm just going to cross off the first half. Then you'll have 1, and then you'll have, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's really going to help with latency, which is honestly a big deal. And now, for example, here's a place you can really find your latency. Moving around a window. For example, I'm going to open up MSI Afterburner. This feels all right. On an Intel system, this feels so much better, with, especially with the 240Hz monitor. So, this is what's going to make your mouse feel like you're not running it through mud. I've said that before. I've said it to a bunch of people, actually. But this is what I'm going to say. Get a 5950X. Get a 10900K. Let me just load up that tier list. Get the 5800X and the 10600K. Those are the 4 CPUs you should be looking for. Unless you're on a budget, you'll go with the 3600 or the 3700X. And then later down the road, you can buy a used 5th gen. That's all I'm going to say. And I feel like that's perfect. That's going to be what you want. In the next couple of videos, I'll be talking about Big Navi. And I'll also be talking about AMD and NVIDIA GPUs going through finally all of them on Newegg. I feel like it's finally okay to do it. And I can kind of go through prices at the same time. I feel like this is a very good video. If you are interested in me making like PC parts based off these, like a parts picker list, put down below in the comments and I'll kind of compare them and what I think about them, what I think the FPS will be. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'll see you guys later. Hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that bell icon. That actually helps a lot more than you think. You see, you can kind of see it right here. Oh, it went away. But anyways, yeah, the little bell icon. Just hit that. It's all good. Comment, whatever you want. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Bye, guys.